Yes, my G's, slurpty derp. I want to talk to you guys today about mid-range frequencies in Neurofunk basses. This is actually, super important and not a video I've discussed so much about in detail just on one video, you know? And so when it comes to like Neurofunk basses especially, this can apply to other drum and bass as well, but especially Neurofunk basses, they are often acting as the lead instrument, you know? And so what is the character of a lead is that it's something that really, it really dominates in the mid-range, you know? So when you're creating Neurofunk basses, you know, it's great having all that weight in the low end. That's wonderful. A bit of fizz on top, bit of noise in the high end to get it nice and crispy, you know. Some harmonics higher up from the sub as well, you know, really fill out the whole spectrum, you know. But the whole expression of the sound and the whole character of the sound actually comes from the mid-range. And particularly for Neurofunk, tend to think about that sort of 200 to 400 hertz range, you know, particularly 300 hertz is, you know, right in the middle. I love that kind of frequency area. And for Neurofunk basses and stuff like that, I really feel like that is where all of the magic happens, you know. That's where the expression of the sound comes from, you know. That's where the character of the sound comes from. Everything else has to be right. You've got to do all the other things well as well. You know, you've got to do your basses, your sub bass well underneath it. You've got to fill in all your high end nicely and get a nice texture that matches the character. But it's in that sort of 300 hertz area, baby, which is where it's like getting all of its character from, you know. So never underestimate that area, you know. It's so key. And here's a bass I've just been toying around with today on Serum 2. And this is a really sort of a little bit crossing over to the atmospheric dark type of bass. You know, it's quite atonal as well. But it is a Neurofunk kind of bass. And if you ever listen on its own in isolation. Yeah, when I talk about those mid-range areas, you can see it here. This is the magic that I'm always looking for, you know? So, yeah, this area here especially, you can find a nice sweet spot often in these areas, you know, when you're making this kind of sound. It's really great at 300 there. And so, here's a little just brings it out much more into the foreground. And there's a little tip, but don't tell anyone. I do mastering for all the tracks on my label and for clients as well. And I master obviously different styles differently, and it's not always drum and bass, you know. But when I'm doing Neurofunk, one of the key things I look for in my mastering is how I can get a bit more of that mid-range expression of the Neurofunk basses to come out. That's one of the key things I look for. So I was actually doing some mastering this morning, and I was employing a similar technique on the master, you know. But basically, let's take another look at like a couple of other basses. I'm just designing some new presets at the moment, but let's look back to one of my older packs, like or the most recent pack, for example. Dissonance, for example, maybe. Let's look at this one, the Disorder Generator, right? It's a lovely one. And again here, if we have a look, this sort of like the sub bass and then the sort of sine wave a bit higher up, but all the character, a lot of it's in this sort of high mid-range, low treble area, that sort of crunch. But where's that real growly 300 area, you know? You said there's a sort of nice part here on 220. I'll bring that one up. That's kind of where all the character's coming from on this one as well, you know. So if you ever use this patch and you've got it, you've got my preset pack Dissonance, and you've got this preset, you kind of want to be boosting this area to get more out of it, you know. I mean, all the sound design patches are great, but don't get me wrong, you can always apply some EQing yourself to like enhance it even more, you know, in the post-processing. Something I would actually actively do as well. So that's great with that little boost there, and that's like really enhancing the Neurofunk expression by targeting that sort of 200 to 400 hertz area mid-range and finding a nice sweet spot in there, you know. Let's take a look at one more sort of random one here. Yeah, let's try this one. It sounds like it might be a bit higher up, but we'll see. The goat in the pasture. So let's see if we can boost. Got a nice area again around 220 there. It's nice, slightly higher up too. But yeah, I do like that kind of area there. It's really nice. So nice part around 400 as well, yeah. So you kind of have to be a bit 50-50 on this one. Here I could be a bit selective in the mix. If I had this track, this sort of lead bass preset in one of my tunes, I could sort of in this part like find out, you know, if I boost that 400, is that a great little pocket in the whole mix that is gonna kind of give me a bit of what I want in that area, or am I gonna go lower at that 200 hertz range, which is also a fairly pleasant boost, you know, and on that one. You know, have I got space in the track to lift it all up from the underneath a bit more, you know? So it's something that you can think about in terms of like, yeah, playing with those kind of boosts in the concept of your whole mix as well, you know? Because you're just like taking the cool growly elements that are in there, and there's sometimes more than one, you know? There's often like a couple of different spots you could get a nice sort of little resonant growl kind of enhancement. Yeah, resonant growl enhancement. Should be the name of a video game. So that's where, yeah, you can there's sometimes multiple trigger points. Like, you know, when you're massaging your neck and you're like, oh, I got one there. Oh, there's another. Oh, blimey, they're all over the place. At least that's what my neck's always like. But yeah. Essentially, yeah, there's going to be multiple points that you could kind of choose to lift up, and that's really up to you in how you're going to fit it into your track, you know. But those points are often there. You can bring them out. It's really, really nice to do that in Neurofunk basses, and there's usually always room to do that somewhere, even if you've got the bass from a sample pack or one of my preset packs or wherever you got it from. You can just consciously enhance those mid-range points and get more expressive character from the sound. All right, hopefully that was a helpful little tip for you guys. You know, I try to do a video every day at the moment, and I do not have, I mean, I got a lot of ideas for videos. Don't get me wrong, I've done over 1,400. And I like to think that they're all unique, but, you know, I mean, I do mention similar things repeatedly because, of course, there are certain things that must be repeated. But I try to bring something new on every video. I try my best. And so, yeah, I'm recording this a little bit later than usual because this morning I didn't quite have an inspiration for a video yet, you know. So I was like, okay, let's go to the gym. Let's do a bit of TikTok. Let's do some mastering. Let's work on some stuff for the label. Go back to the gym, and then eventually I was like, and then doing some sound design, and I was like, here's a cool thing I can hope brings value to people that I haven't talked about before. So I hope I bring you guys some value. Leave a like and a comment down below. Subscribe if you're new. Welcome to the Crazy Sound Design channel. And if you're crazy enough, come and join us on Discord or Patreon if you want as well. We've got free downloads on Patreon, a great Discord community, and we're doing our next feedback live stream soon. Also, preset packs on my website in case you want any Serum, Vital, Faceplant and Current. Email me if you need any mixing and mastering work done, or book yourself in for some one-on-one lessons via my calendar link down below. All right, that's it from me today. More from me very, very, very soon. Much love.